And welcome back. It is Ray Michaels here, Total News Nation and Grassroots 50. We're here with the lovely Liana. Oh, it's so great to see you.
So good to see you again.
Yes, now we had an opportunity to spend some time at another event like this, but it's been almost
a year.
2 years.
That was last year at the Clay.
No, it was 2 years ago.
Was it at the Clay Clark event?
I know.
I thought that was last year. That was 2 years ago?
I know.
Where does time go? Wow.
Time goes by very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Now, Liana has one of the top books on how to deal with cancer from a food perspective.
Yes.
Let's show it right here. Cancer-free food. Now, you told me the statistics. So right now, this is one of the top 10...
Top 100 cancer books of all time.
Of all time?
All time, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about your journey, your story. You did not grow up in the United States.
I did not. I am a citizen now, but that's part of my story. So I grew up in Outback, Australia, the very center of Australia. If you look at a map, it's right in the middle.
Now, that's not the restaurant. Outback?
The Outback, I mean, that's an American restaurant, but I've never been. Maybe if they change their oils to olive oil, I might consider going, get those seed oils out of their Outback Steakhouse.
So the Outback of Australia. And for those of you who maybe don't know geography, Australia is a continent. It's not a state. It's not just an island. It's a continent.
It's interesting how much Americans don't know about Australia, which is fair because you don't learn about it in your history. But yeah, it's actually the same size as America. I mean, maybe like half of an eighth smaller. But if you look at an American map, an Australian map, it's the same size. It's like massive land, but we only have 30 million people versus 330 million.
And mostly on the coast.
It's all on the coast.
Yeah,
there's not
where
many,
you live. Yeah, there's
not many that live right in the center. Yeah, so I went to an Aboriginal school, which was amazing. So half the kids were white, half were Aboriginal. And I was at school from 3, but from age 5, I can remember learning from them about nature and how to survive in the outback. We were taught how to go camping, how to collect food, bush tucker, how to collect water. And so all that was really ingrained in me from a young age. Yeah.
Now, what brought you there? What brought your family there?
I just think they like the simple lifestyle, just very laid-back lifestyle.
Your mom and dad?
Yeah. They
love the simple...
laid-back lifestyle. They like that you could drive across the town in 10 minutes. It was very chill. We could go camping every weekend. So yeah, it was that kind of like very outback, natural kind of lifestyle.
Now it's a very arid, very dry, not a lot of rainfall.
Not a lot.
But you have a very famous mountain there.
Oh, Ayers Rock? Yeah. So Ayers Rock is a giant red rock right in the center of Australia.
Who put it there?
You know, the Aboriginals believe it's the heartbeat of Australia, and it has an energy. It's made of iron, and you used to be able to walk on it, but they've banned that now. But you can walk around it, and it charges you up. It's pretty intense. You really feel it charge up your heart. Energetically, it's like Sedona. It's the vortex, the energy with the indigenous people. The same thing about Ayers Rock.
You know, it's amazing because a lot of people are now getting more and more familiar with grounding and how our body runs on electrical impulses, and by wearing shoes and always walking on carpets, that we're not getting the energy from the earth.
Yeah.
But this is like times 20 to be there.
Yeah, you go there to heal and recharge. I love to go there at least once every second year. To go recharge. I would like to go more, but once every other year is like it's a trek to go there. But it's worth it. It's really worth it.
It's a long flight even to get. So you fly into Sydney, I would think.
Flying to Sydney.
And then you would fly.
Yeah. Straight to Uluru. Yeah.
Now, is your family still there?
One member's there. The rest are in South Australia, Brisbane, Perth. Yeah. So everyone's kind of left.
Well,
yeah.
Now tell us the story here. So you grew up in the outback. When did you start this journey in Australia?
Yes. So then, when I was 16, so I knew all about eating natural and all of that, and we were raised very natural. When I was 16, we went through, I had a lot of trauma in my childhood, unfortunately, and I turned to food as my drug. Instead of drugs and alcohol, it was food. And I started binge eating on refined sugar, fast food, And binge eating, for those who are binge eaters know, it's like living in hell. So I did that every day for 5 years. And I knew it was wrong because this food was so far removed from nature, but it was an addiction at that point. It was like so strong.
Well, if fast food is almost made to be addictive.
Exactly. Well, we know that now because we know that the cigarette companies are the ones who actually bought all the fast food and the processed food, ultra processed food companies. When the cigarette companies started to decline, that's when they started to buy the food companies. So the cigarette companies are the ones who own food companies. So it's all we know.
Wow.
Yeah, they've created this food to be highly addictive, and it is. It really, really is. And I was stuck in it. And after 5 years, I ended up with a golf ball-sized tumor in my lymphatic system.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was the wake-up call that I needed.
So what did the standard doctors say about this a golf ball size? That's large in your lymphatic system. I mean, that's big.
Yeah. It was the wake-up call that I needed. They basically said I could do surgery, chemo, radiation they're always an option. One of them offered me a cervical cancer vaccine. It was like, that was my first introduction to the medical industry. And I was like, this is not right. I went and found a naturopath, and I worked with a naturopath and a functional doctor instead. And I said no to all the conventional treatments.
So they did a biopsy on it. They said it was cancerous.
Very, very early stages of cancer. Yep. It hadn't spread anywhere else. It was just in my neck.
And you could visually see it?
You could see it, yeah. It was massive, yeah. It was sticking out of my neck, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that must have been scary because you're looking at it and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What's going on? I don't know anything about this. It's my first kind of idea of even to look into it.
Yeah.
I should be trusting the doctors, right? They go through all the schooling. They should be doing this, but they're not telling you something in your innate intelligence said something is wrong with what they're telling me.
Yes, that, and also because of my upbringing with the indigenous people, and they taught us how you can heal anything. And they survived off the land, just with the land and God and food, for thousands and thousands of years. According to the Australian government, 62,000 years is how long they survived for. So they believe that you could heal anything. And so that was instilled in me, and I was like, okay, I did this to myself because I ate all this junk food. And that's the thing, a lot of people, when they get cancer, they don't think, oh, I did it to myself.
Right.
But I knew that because my body was so acidic. I felt so toxic every day. I was so tired. I was 21 at the time. I have more energy now, being 37, than when I was 21.
Wow.
It's all the diet, yeah. So I knew, that's not the route I want to go because...
Did you do the pH testing? I'm sure when you went to the naturopath, right, they did a pH testing to find out how acidic your body was, how out of whack it was?
They didn't do the pH testing. I mean, it was obvious that I was so acidic. My blood work was on the verge of leukemia, my white blood cells. How
was your skin?
Yellow.
Okay.
I was yellow. Yeah, I was very bloated.
So it affected your liver quite a bit.
Massively, yeah. My gut wasn't functioning properly. I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue as well. I was so tired all the time. And I felt like just poison in my body. It was terrible, yeah.
So what was the next step for you? You went to a naturopathic doctor, and then what?
She told me that we're going to detox you. And if we detox your gut, it's going to drain out your lymphatic system. And now everyone knows everything's about gut health, right? It's like common. But back then, no one was really talking about that apart from naturopaths. Thank God for naturopaths.
How many years ago was this?
This was 15 years ago. Yeah. And I believed it. It sounded right. And my gut was like...
Were you distended?
Distended, very bloated. I also, because I was binge eating, I used to eat so much junk food, and then I would, instead of purging, like a lot of people get bulimia, I took laxatives to get it out of my body,
right.
And that I lost all the muscles in my gut. So my gut was
the
not
peristaltic
working.
action.
Yeah, so it was like just not, my gut was just not functioning. And then they were right. Detox. Had to do a detox.
Did you find a lot of heavy metals in your body?
At the time, we didn't do heavy metal testing either. I'm sure I would have had heavy metals. But we did do a live blood test, and I was riddled with parasites. ton of parasites, and actually a lot of people have parasites and don't know it.
Right.
Especially if if people have been eating factory farm meat. That's where the parasites are.
Yeah, because they think that they're cooking enough to kill everything, but it doesn't kill everything.
Right. Well, parasites don't just come from the raw elements either. Yeah. And it can just breed so much toxicity, and they can take over the blood, and that's why a lot of people with parasites end up getting cancer. Yeah, so there's some great microbiome tests and stool tests you can do out there to see what is my microbiome like. Do I have parasites? What's the bacteria, good versus bad? Yeah.
A lot of people use ivermectin because it's highly effective for parasitic activity in your body.
Yeah.
But the average person doesn't understand that there's an incredible balance that your body goes through. It's an acid-alkaline balance. It's a good-bad bacteria balance. And whatever you put in your body either continues that balance or disrupts the balance. And it looks like you were highly disrupted.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I have cancer in my genes, and I just completely triggered all those marks from all the junk food and my lifestyle.
So you detoxed. They probably did a liver cleanse. They did a kidney cleanse. They maybe a pancreas cleanse. And then what happened?
So we did this detox program for 3 months, and I talk about the protocol in my book of the colonics, coffee enemas, juicing,
liquid
bentonite clay.
Yeah. You did, probably gourmet psyllium husk, right?
I did some psyllium husk, yeah. And after 3 months, the tumor had completely dissolved, completely gone.
Did you do any other, herbs, whether it was cayenne pepper or things that created a different vibrational frequency in your body?
I didn't then because what I knew was kind of limited, but what I know now is I recommend things like cayenne pepper, and I didn't know about B17, the apricot seeds.
Ooh, yes.
So I would have used that. I didn't know about sulforaphane either. So I was it was mostly juicing, colonics, bentonite clay, coffee enemas, and the earth diet. I created the upgrade system, so every time I would crave something unhealthy, I would make it using wholesome ingredients. The concept is we can have our cake and eat it too, as long as it's the right type of cake made with wholesome ingredients.
Right.
And it's possible. We're living in the best day and age where we can do that now. So.
Well, the availability of a lot of things. So what about? Did you do any oxygen therapy?
I did not, but that's something else that I also now recommend and promote. Like, there's a lot more things that would have helped me, but it worked. It worked for me, and. That's why when people get cancer, I always say to them, there's like literally thousands of healing modalities of cancer that you can do. You want to pick the ones that resonate with you, but also look at the ones that are really killing cancer the most, like the studies, the case studies. And what I found is sulforaphane is number one.
What is that derived from?
Sulforaphane is derived from broccoli sprouts. It's also in broccoli, cabbage, but it's 50 times more potent in broccoli sprouts.
So cruciferous vegetables.
Yes, but broccoli sprouts specifically, they've been studied for over 30 years at Johns Hopkins Hospital, Dr. Talalay. Every single tumor and cancer that they've injected with sulforaphane, no tumor and cancer can hold its form. Tumors break down.
It's got to be highly alkaline.
Oh, highly.
Yeah.
It's extremely. So, and then the chlorophyll is the second one. And chlorophyll comes from green juice, which is what I recommend everyone does every day. And if they can't drink green juice, would be liquid chlorophyll and water.
Now, you mentioned a juicer that you really like, which is the Nama juicer.
The Nama, yep.
And does it do wheatgrass as well?
That's a good question.
Because a lot of juicers, it has to be some sort of juicer, whether it's a twin gear. The masticating do an average job on it, but twin gear is usually good. But if I remember right, it's an auger type system, the Nama, isn't it? Isn't it an auger?
It
spins.
It does spin, but it's a cold press and it spins very slowly.
So if I remember correctly, because I did just a little bit of research on this, it allows you to have the pulp separated from the juice, but it's all self-contained.
Yeah.
In that juicer, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
That they did it, because normally it's messy, when you're doing juicing.
Right,
but I believe it's an auger system, and I believe that it can do wheatgrass as well.
Oh, cool.
Now, did you grow your own wheatgrass?
I did not. No, I didn't. I wasn't juicing wheatgrass either.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
What was
juicing.
the chlorophyll that you used?
So I was drinking green juice. That was the chlorophyll. So I was having cucumber, celery, lemon, ginger, parsley,
Yeah.
spinach, and I was having a lot of apple, which is bio-individual. A lot of people say if you have cancer, you can't have sugar. It depends on the cancer.
And it depends on the sugar.
Yeah, exactly. If you have cancer, you only want to eat wholesome sugars, obviously, that God created, that we can actually digest.
Natural
sugars
in its state, no
from
refined.
its fruit, ideally, or honey. Yes. So I was having a lot of apples in my juice as well. But that's chlorophyll. That's a ton of chlorophyll.
It helps the palatability of the juice too.
The apple?
Yeah, it makes it taste better.
Well, now I can't drink it with apple. It's too much. It's too sweet. But back then, I needed that, like the sweetness.
Well, and you know, your taste buds change over the years, right?
And they change because of cellular memory, which is amazing. So if we train ourselves and drink green juice every day, we retrain our cellular memory, and eventually we crave green juice.
Now, your tumor, you said it was in your lymphatic system, right?
Yeah.
Did it affect the thyroid at all?
No, it didn't. There was no talk of thyroid, and my thyroid is great. It's fine. So yeah.
No, because that's usually when you're talking about lymphatic system, thyroid comes.
They can be very connected. Yeah.
Yeah, because it controls. I mean, everything in your body.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you've been now cancer-free for
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Now, for the average person, they said, okay, well, I'll do this for a certain period of time, but then I want to live my life a different way. Tell everybody how your body literally changes where you no longer crave those other things and you actually crave the healthier diet.
Yeah. Which seemed impossible to someone like me who was like severely addicted to fast foods, right? So cellular memory, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite things about science. Every time we put something into our body, like a green juice, water, we are creating new cells, and then the old cells are dying immediately. It's cell regeneration, and it's a cool visual for people to always see. Every time they're drinking a green juice, it's like, okay, I'm building new cells, and the old cells are dying, like disease cells are dying, cancer cells are dying. And yeah, so then after a certain period of that, it just, you don't crave those foods anymore because your cells don't remember it. There's no imprint for it. They don't crave it.
Well, they didn't want it in the first place.
Yes, but they got corrupted.
Right.
Right, from all the fast food and the refined sugar.
And they didn't want it, but you kept putting it in, and they said, this is the only thing we got.
And then are used to it. Yeah, exactly. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah. So that's why I always tell people in the beginning, you got to force yourself to have the juice every day. But eventually, it's easy, and you're not craving all those foods anymore. Like after a year of me doing the earth diet, because when I was healing, I created the earth diet, and it was all about going back to nature and eating foods from 365 days. After the 365 days, I was curious because I hadn't had any processed refined food for 365 days. I went to the store and I looked at all the candy, the lollies, and I was like, they look dead.
Yeah.
The vibration of them was dead. And before, when I was in the store, I used to see them and be like, wow, like the colors would just get me. And then I was like, wow, they look dead. And then I bought a few things and I tried it and I was like, I had no desire for it, and I've never eaten it since. Like, it's just gross. And when I bit into it, I could feel like the empty sugar. It's like empty sugar. It doesn't go anywhere. And that's the cool thing with eating healthy, nourishing foods, especially like even healthier candies, you know. They satisfy the pleasure, but then also they leave you feeling nourished. And that's the way God wants us to eat.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Right.
You're absolutely right. That's the Genesis diet.
Yeah, Genesis diet.
Annual diet.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, we just have a couple minutes here. Give me, for our audience, give me a normal morning, afternoon, evening. How would you eat?
Yeah. So I always start the day with green juice or chlorophyll, always. So this morning I got some green juice from the local organic juice bar. So that's like the start. And then it depends if I'm traveling, right? Because it's different.
Yeah.
Like on the road is a bit different.
It's hard.
It's hard. I'm eating a lot more snacks. I had a piece of avocado toast from the juice bar, a little acai bowl. But yeah, my meals are basically very plant rich and then just clean proteins. Yeah, and I do have cacao every day. I love cacao. That's my coffee. Cacao has been proven to have anti-tumor activities in the brain and the gut, so it's
But you
amazing.
like raw cacao.
Raw cacao.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's always
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I always put a scoop in my smoothie.
Nice. Yeah, it gets the
It,
brain
it
going.
also
Yeah.
releases endorphins.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, that's why people
yeah.
are addicted to chocolate, but you're getting it in the most purest
Pure form,
form
yeah.
when you get raw cacao.
Yeah.
Especially harvested, correctly and all that
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
Wow. Well, it's so great to see you.
It's so great to
again.
see you, Ray.
Yes.
Thanks for
We'll
having
do
me here.
more. Yeah, we will do more. How do they find your book?
You can get Cancer Free with Food on Amazon. Yeah. And just type in Google the Earth Diet and I'll come up my social media platforms and my website. So yeah.
Go where one more time?
The Earth Diet.
TheEarthDiet.com?
.com. Yep, that's it.
All right, TheEarthDiet.com. We're going to let's get you on to Grassroots 50, and we can have you on there as a contributor. And anytime you come out, do you do any podcasts?
Like podcast interviews? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
sure.
do you push stuff out on social media?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll put you on there so we can
Yeah.
get... All right, this is Liana, and we thank you so much for joining us here. Grassroots 50 and Total News Nation. I'm Ray Michaels, and until next time, we'll see you real soon.
Amazing.